Why don't you start off by telling the people who you are and what you do here at Family Christian Doors?
So my name is Dustyn. I'm the lead technician. I take care of all of the training of all of the new technicians as they onboard, making sure they know what they're doing, make sure they know all the product, teaching them how to fix the doors, whatnot. Pretty much just making sure that not only are they as educated as they can be, but also just that they're handling the situations as best as they can as well.
And how long have you been with Family Christian Doors, and what kind of brought you here?
I'm coming up on 6 years, and I was introduced to them by the family, actually. I was friends with one of the owner's sisters, was introduced from there, and from there it's been on. Started as a tech, was a tech for a couple of years, and never really liked just kind of riding the baseline, so kind of came in and tried to be the best that I could be, and that's where it went from there.
I remember when you started. We started around the same time, back in 2019-ish.
Yeah.
Started a little bit before you. So with you being the lead technician, obviously you talk about how you didn't start there, you had to work on up there. So now that you've achieved that position, what's something that you love the most about your job and what you do day to day? I
think the biggest thing that I guess I like from my job is that I'm a lead technician. I'm not a manager.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the field with them doing the same job that they're doing every day. Mm-hmm. So I'm not, behind a desk. I'm out in the field taking calls from them, from the customers, from the office. I'm sweating in the summer just as much as they are.
Yeah.
So it's a way to equalize with them, see eye to eye. When they call me with a problem, I'm right there with them in the garage dealing with the same things. So it keeps me level with them, and just the interaction between them, helping them out, being able to be the guy that answers all the questions. I've always been that guy.
Yeah. I mean, with the industry that we're in, it's kind of a niche type of thing. Garage doors, it's not something that you think about until really you have to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so what's one thing that most people don't know about garage door work?
I would say the biggest thing is just the maintenance. I mean, it's one of those things. It's the biggest moving part in your home, and most of the time we're parking our most expensive possessions underneath them. Yeah, and it kind of gets put on the back burner as a maintenance item. Yearly people call out for their AC maintenance and things like that. They're well on top of their vehicle maintenance, but that being a moving object, it's important for people to call us out, every other year or so, just for a maintenance item. We come out, we look at the door, we do a full inspection sheet on the door. We'll look the door from left to right, let you know everything that we recommend doing, and if you don't feel like doing anything at all, we'll just leave you a list of recommendations and take care of the things that you do need to get done at that time. I
think that's also a cool kind of business model that we have that other companies don't, is that typically to get somebody out there to your home, you're going to be paying something for them to get on out there, whereas for us, we legitimately just want to take a look and see what's going on and see how we can help you, and whether or not we proceed at that time is up to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I try to tell the guys is, just be as forthcoming with the information as you can. Talk them blue in the face if you have to, and if they go with somebody else, well, then they go with somebody else, and that's their decision. Mm-hmm. But we've done what we can do to inform them about everything that's going on their door, and then they've made their decision from there.
It's really an invitation to a customer's home, because I hate to say it, but typically, especially in this industry, they'll go and look around for other, opinions, and then other pricing and stuff like that, and more times than not, they end up coming.
Oh yeah, it's a knowledge thing. It's just we come in, we lay it out. There shouldn't be any pressure. It's just these are the parts that we would either recommend, or these are the parts that are physically broken, and we just kind of take it from there.
Yeah. So obviously we just talked about how we're coming up on 6 years being at the company, which is crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. Right. But since being here that long, what's kind of a memorable service call, a job that you won't ever forget?
To me, I think the ones that stand out in my opinion aren't the easy ones, or even the big ones. The ones that you go out to the job, you think it's going to be an easy fix, or you think it's going to be something here. You get into it, and then you're vested in the job. So you're messing with this, you're messing with that, and you've done everything you can. And at the end of it, you walk away from that knowing that there's a complete 360-degree difference between what the door sounded like when you got there versus when you left. And then when that customer comes out and you hit that button and they're just baffled. I mean, they almost think it's a new door, and it's the same door that they had before, just updated product and updated, worn parts.
Right. So kind of going into your skills and values and things like that, What does serving with excellence mean to you on a job site?
Listening to the customer. The biggest thing is coming in. Again, our main objective is to inspect the door so that we let you guys know exactly what's wrong with the door, and then obviously any upgrade or more recommended items. But at the end of the day, we're still there to service the customer. So come in, listen to what the customer is needing, listen to what their expectations are, and then we just best fit those needs and expectations.
Yeah, 100%. And so with that being said, how do you typically handle like a rough or kind of tough situation when you're out on site, like something that's kind of challenging?
It's situation from one situation to the next can be completely different. But again, you kind of got to step back some, take a breath, approach it. If they're not understanding it, maybe try to understand it in a different way or a more simplified version. Write it down. We do a good job we have several different types. We not only go out and physically inspect the door, but we actually fill it out on a form so that we can go through it with you. Hey, this is what's wrong. This is what I've notated. This is an action item that we should take care of. This is the resolution. We can try to, without dummying it all the way down, explain it in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. So what sets Family Christian Doors apart from other companies that you've seen?
Pride. We really do. We've taken the time. We've taken a lot of energy in training and coaching these guys on product knowledge.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot more options and a lot more thorough, detailed explanations on things. We're not just going to walk in and tell you, hey, this is broken and you need it replaced. Yeah. You're going to get an explanation of why it broke or why it did this and or why it needs to be or should be taken care of to prevent other items from wearing or potentially costing more money moving forward.
And I think that's also like a misconception from the public sometimes, because our model is, we don't charge a service fee for us to come out there and take a look. And also we're a faith-based company, so right off the bat people are kind of standoffish to that fact. But we'd like to have service, we would like to win a job, sure, but that's not what's first to us. What's first to us is making sure that a customer is getting what they need, like you said.
Absolutely.
They're actually being told what's wrong and all that. We're not coming out there to hook you. Be like, all right, it's free for us to come out, but you're going to pay something. That's
Absolutely.
Not really what we're about.
We'll come out, talk you blue in the face, give you all the information you need, and leave you with an estimate and with no pressure, and you can either call us back or
and
you
we
don't
do.
have to.
We do it on a daily basis. But we're happy to do that, because whenever you do have an issue or whenever something else does occur, you remember us by our integrity, and that we weren't there to sell you on something. We're trying to help you out, and so it's we hope that you'll call us back.
That's one of the main things that I think we stand out from the competition a lot, is just the level of expertise that you're going to get. You're going to get somebody that shows up. It's going to have a formal form. We're not just showing up and pointing things out. We fill out a form showing you everything that needs to happen, and then we go over it, and then we leave the ball in your court. All we can do is leave the recommendations for the repairs or replacement items to be made, and then at that point they make the decision to either go forward with it or we leave the estimate.
What's one thing homeowners can do to keep their garage doors running smoothly?
Again, that kind of just rolls back to the give us a call every year, every other year kind of thing. A lot of what keeps a garage door running well is that routine maintenance. We come out, it may only be the routine maintenance this time, but then in a year and a half when we come out next time, that cable may have frayed a little bit. And if we can come out and inspect the door and catch that cable before it breaks, which would in turn cause other damages, it's cheaper to maintain your door every year or every other year than it is to wait for an item to actually break, which most of the times when you talk about moving in parts, especially a garage door, when one part breaks, you generally will damage another part as well.
Yeah.
Costing more.
I've kind of had this conversation with everyone that's been on, just to kind of see what they say, and really I found that we all say the same thing. But leadership here within this company is so important, and we really lean into strong leadership, and the people that do lead us, our management, the owners, they've really kind of set the bar on what's expected within the company, not only just as a business, but they're really good models as to how to be good men, really.
I mean, you boil that down to my technicians. I don't think I have a tech on staff that I haven't had some kind of personal connection with outside of work, either it be hanging out, doing this, hanging out with them and their kids and their wife, whatever. You know, I have had some sort of personal outside of work connection with every single one of the technicians, which is important because one thing that our company's name is Family Christian Doors. Oh, absolutely. And we really put the family into that. We're with each other more than our own families. A lot of these guys will call me and not even be job related. A lot of these guys are just calling me just to have a chit chat, just to get a little bit of motivation behind their day. Yeah. You know? I don't mind doing that, none whatsoever. Yeah. When it comes to leadership, though, how has our leaders, like Matt Hendricks or anybody like that, how have they kind of reflected on you? You know, like kind of. I've worked for a handful of different people. Big businesses, small businesses, and I can tell you honestly, I've never worked for a company that has the true give you the shirt off their back kind of mentality. They'll call in at midnight. They're going to answer to try to give you assistance with whatever problem you're having. This place, we really take pride in being the people to lend that hand when it's needed, you know. Never are you going to ask a question or look for an answer and get a cold shoulder. No. Never. You'll always get an answer, and if it's not from them, they'll give you the person to get the answer from. Yeah, always. So, why does the mission and name of Family Christian Doors matter to you personally? Again, you kind of boil it back down. A lot of when people ask, I get the question all the time, is it really, Family Christian Door? Absolutely. The faith-based and the family name, really the family part of it is what we really hold true to. Yeah. Everyone knows everybody. Everyone's connected in some form of way. Mm-hmm. We've got more blood kin in this business than I've ever had in any one roof ever. Yeah. But it's just, it's great. We really do all really try hard daily to extend that offering hand to someone, Yeah. I did a magazine interview recently, and they actually used it in the article, and they said, I told them we might argue like siblings sometimes, because we're around each other so much, but our love runs deep, it runs deep with each other. We really care for everybody here. Everyone's treated like actual family. Yeah. You might not always see eye to eye, might not always agree, but you get past it. But we make it work. We make it work. Every day we make it work. And people always ask, is Christian like your last name? It's like, no. No, it's not the last name. It's a faith-based, it is a belief, Absolutely. And that's what we base our model off of. So what do you, as a lead and just a representative of Family Christian Doors, what do you want customers to feel or to know before you go out to their homes, and how do you want them to feel once you've left their homes? In all honesty, they should feel, especially if we've gone out and done any business with them. We go out, the way we present it, the way we lay it out, and once we leave, they should feel just as comfortable as they were when we answered the door. We come in, knock on the door. From the time that we're dispatched out to the job, the customer knows our name, the customer knows how long it'll be before we get there. So we already set that precedence of being on time, and the customer knows exactly who's showing up when we get there. Yeah. So, it should just roll through nice and easy, and then when we're done, if they've either done business or not done business with us and they've left an estimate, I'm very confident in the fact that when they do make that decision, it's going to be a good one. So whenever you're not here at Family Christian Doors doing lead technician things or whatever a Dustyn does, what do you do outside of work? What do you like to do for fun? I think I have two very strong passions. Mm-hmm. I love to fish, and I play pool competitively. Play in a league 2 times a week for pool. I do pool tournaments sometimes, and then I love to fish. I carry a fishing pole in the truck with me. Mm-hmm. If there's a break between jobs and I have time to find a pond somewhere, I'm going to go. So really like fishing and really enjoy playing pool. Yeah. So outside of that, what did your life kind of look like before you started here at Family Christian Doors? What were you up to? I kind of flipped industries. I was in the telecommunications industry. I had worked for AT&T for years as a technician there, running lines, splicing lines, installing for customers. And then I left that and was doing telecommunication work, climbing cell phone towers, doing more structural stuff, traveling all over. Just gone, no family time, working all in just to pay rent for somewhere you don't sleep. Yeah. I was gone for months at a time. So that it was feeling like being beat down a dead horse, So once I found the opportunity here, started here, and I've never looked back. It's been great. Absolutely.
One thing I love about this company is that you don't have to stay stagnant. There is room for growth in all areas, and the knowledge never ends. You can always learn something.
Yep.
The customers do come first to us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's our front door. Not saying nobody, but we typically don't use the front door anymore. I mean, we're in and out of that garage door. It's where we park our vehicles, and we want you guys to be able to have access to those items. We don't want you to feel stuck at home. We don't want you to feel trapped at home. So when you do have an issue and that point of entry isn't working, we want to be able to get out to the home quickly and efficiently, get the issue taken care of. That way you can move on with your day and have access to that vehicle that you didn't when you had the problem. Yeah,
100%. Well, we've flown through this conversation, but it's gone smooth like butter, which I'm grateful for. And I know that you've got things that you've got to go do, probably fish or something like that.
Absolutely.
So thank you for coming on, and hopefully you can come on again here soon.
Thank you.